The Walt Disney Company has just unveiled their first trailer for the highly anticipated Fantastic Four First Steps in theaters July 25th, 2025. With this being the formal introduction of these iconic comic book characters into the MCU, everyone has been curious about how Kevin Feige and company would handle this particular portrayal of the Fantastic Four, especially given their questionable casting choices. Let's discuss our initial impressions of what the company might call a fantastic trailer here on That Park Place.
We want to talk about Disney, that former theme park company that currently holds the rights to all of the things that the Walt Disney Company has built over the years. Well, what's the next big thing for them? It dropped this morning on Good Morning America. Fantastic Four First Steps trailer, superhero team faces off against Galactus and the Silver Surfer in first title of MCU Phase 6. Are we on Phase 6? For some reason, I thought we were already in Phase 6.
Kind of lost track there of the phases. I think a lot of people did as well, which might be why we're getting that reemphasized today, apparently.
Was Endgame was Phase 3? Is that what they're saying here? For some reason, I thought Endgame was the end of Phase 4, except for the, they always tack some movie that doesn't really make sense to the whole thing on the end. Like Ant-Man was the end of Phase 2, maybe? Yeah, the end of Phase 2 was Ant-Man. And then, of course, Spider-Man's European Vacation was the end of Phase 3. I don't know. It's all blurring together, and now this is a universe that has like 40 different properties in it, or something like that. And now we have one that they're promising doesn't have anything to do. This one doesn't have anything that says it's MCU in it, or does it? Let's talk about this right here. Oh! Can you hear the audio? Oh, wait, you can't hear the audio because I removed all of that copyright bomb of music from this. So the one thing that this trailer right now will not have is that fantastic score from Michael Giacchino, who is so good. He did the music for The Incredibles. He did the music for Lost. It's
also did the music for the 2005 version of Space Mountain, which is currently at Disneyland. So
did he? I think that Michael Giacchino is about as close to John Williams as you could get without being John Williams, but he can also do other styles. I will say, once you've heard a John Williams score, you could interchange it between a few different movies. They're all great, and it's a lot of playing around with horn calls. But man, I will weep when he passes away. I will say that. Michael Giacchino, fantastic composer, though. So let's talk about this. And yes, I know the audio is not there, so we're going to continue on, though. Actually, I want to put this one up here. Just saying, they had the perfect Reed Richards, and they chose not to use him. Instead, they got Pablo. We'll talk about Pablo here in just a moment.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7, on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Okay. Again, we've eliminated all the music in the background for using an isolation software here. This line right off the bat weirds me out. Not gonna lie. He's talking like he's in a commercial or a better living through technology thing, like the one they kind of ape in Iron Man 2 with Roger Slattery. Is that his name? The guy who plays Tony's dad, Howard, in that specific version, the second guy to play Howard Stark. That kind of style. It's a little weird. Pedro Pascal doesn't quite have the sound that I imagine Reed Richards to have.
Right.
Here is a higher pitched voice. Doesn't quite make sense. I will say Vanessa Kirby, not quite what I imagined for the Invisible Woman, but I like Vanessa Kirby, and I think there are many things to enjoy about her performances. So I'm willing to give her a chance, but let's continue on. Oh, new logo. So we got the Baxter Building right here, and what are your thoughts on that one, Vash?
Well, it's very interesting. They're definitely making a statement about the architectural style here that's very evocative of a sweeping futuristic 1950s, 1960s aesthetic. Not necessarily that unlike actually the 1967 version of Tomorrowland at Disneyland. So,
woohoo! Well, yeah, I think that's really the thing that they would be going for here. What movie was it I watched the other day? Last Starfighter. I watched that not long ago, and it has some feelings of 1980s Epcot to it. I would say there's a 1950s Tomorrowland aesthetic that's probably the best word for what this aesthetic is going for here. So let me see here.
Herbie, how's that sauce coming? Yeah, I'll be the judge of that. Okay. Okay. Is this guy good or what? Want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious. I just want to add a little bit of zip. Okay.
All right. So let's talk about Herbie, and then let's talk about Ben Grimm, The Thing. I like the design for Herbie. I think it's a little ridiculous that they've got an apron on him. The spool of tape aesthetic, I like that. That's not a problem. But as a person who enjoys animation, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, that's
like the...
Go ahead, please.
Here, I'll play it again.
Okay. Okay. Is this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious. I just want to add a little bit of zip. Okay.
So that's not the kind of voice I would associate with him. I actually like the actor, Eben Moss Garrick. Probably got his last. I probably got his third name wrong there, but I like that guy. He played Micro in the Punisher series, and I've got nothing against the actor himself. Isn't he also on The Bear, which that's a show about cooking? So I wonder if they were going for that as well. But there's so much missing from that performance there. There's no movement in the eyebrows. There's barely any movement in the lips. You can't see the eyes. So they've stolen all of the things that animators would use to give clues about his expression on this. So it doesn't sell to me. Also, he's got his rock lips sucking on his finger there for a moment. I don't know. There's just something here that it's not quite working. Like, I can tell that it's fully rendered in a still frame. I would say it looks great, but in motion, it's so odd. I can't quite put my finger on everything that's missing here. But so look one more time.
I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious. I just want to add a little bit of zip. Okay.
So there's this flirting with him having like casual expression. Like, I find myself actually wanting to know what the original performance in the mocap suit looked like on that one. Like, I feel like that would be great.
Very much so. They might have been going for like what, a Korg type of aesthetic. Is that right?
Korg, yeah, but Korg, I feel like Korg had more expression himself. But
so.
Korg was also his character was a weirdo.
Right. So it kind of worked, right?
Yeah, he was supposed to be awkward and strange. Ron over here with a great comment. I need more gravel in his voice. Yeah, it makes sense. It really does. But somebody said, no, we want your voice for this. I'm sure the director did. Is it Max Shackman who is in charge of this, or is it Peyton Reed? I think it might be Peyton Reed in charge of this one. But let's continue on.
T-5. Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible.
So I do.
Wasn't a rock.
The best pilot in the world, right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
You can see him look sad. I will say that the sadness does come through on his face. So we'll get a better look at Sue Storm's invisibility effect, and it actually looks great here in just a moment. But the 1960s style telecast, I like that look. It's good.
Johnny never caught fire.
What do you think about that right there? The fire effect.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
And
yeah, I think it works.
Yeah,
I think it works really, really, really well, actually.
Yeah, and I had no problems with the Chris Evans version of this character as far as the way that they animated him. It was obviously very focused on being able to see the details of it being, the actor there. But Let's
Johnny
continue.
is Johnny. What?
So far, he's the one with the most expression out of all of them, Johnny Storm.
Yes, and we probably should update the audience that apparently this film takes place after the events that have actually made them the Fantastic Four, so they're already pre-established and everything's going.
Johnny.
But they're, I guess we are going to get like flashback sequences to how this all started, which is an interesting choice.
Yeah, as long as they tell the origin. There was some indication early on that they were not going to do the origin story, and Marvin made a really good point that you can't quite do the Fantastic Four the same way you do Peter Parker or Bruce Wayne. Everybody knows those origin stories. Superman, there's such a different take every time that you might as well go ahead and do that origin story. Or you could just have him crash landing on Earth and tell the origin story later. With this one, there are so many different and not well-established Fantastic Four origin stories here. So let's continue on.
I am right here.
Yeah, I really, really like what they're doing with the invisibility effect on this one.
I am right here.
The lens flare, the
Whatever
quivering.
life throws in.
I would have actually preferred a moment where you see the flames come off on him, but I get it. It's a cool shot.
Together.
I don't know what that is, but this looks kind of cool. It'd be a nightmare to repair those tires, but man, that's a neat vehicle there.
This vehicle flies, right? That's the one that they had over people's heads at Comic-Con.
And I'll also point out that I guess Johnny got his flame back here. No reignition here in the trailer. They just have him doing cool stuff. Apparently, John Malkovich is in this movie. Okay, maybe he's playing Mole Man.
Well, I thought Culture Casino joined us for a second. I was very, very confused.
What was that?
I thought Culture Casino joined us for a second. I was very confused by this.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Gandalf.
Oh my. Let's see what else is going on. I mean, this is just like, by the way, there's John Malkovich, and I like the way that John Malkovich talks. He is a imposing person in some way, but also has a kind of a high voice for an imposing person. So, and there he is, actual Galactus. He looks gigantic, but not quite as gigantic as he could be.
Ooh. Oh. I shiver to think how much bigger he could be. We saw Galactus in drone form actually at Comic-Con when they were advertising everything coming to the MCU. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and as long as I think they've got on a live stream a while back, I said that they had Corey Burton doing the voice of the Magic Mirror in the new Snow White. That was wrong. It's a different guy, and I think it's the same guy who's also doing the voice of Galactus. Olaf's right here. While this Galactus is huge, it's tiny Galactus. Galactus is supposed to be someone that you can see in space from Earth, so he's teeny tiny. I do like that they went ahead and went with the weird headgear, which they only hinted at in Fantastic Four in the Rise of the Silver Surfer. There was some indication that Galactus was going to be, that Silver Surfer was in the trailer, although maybe I'm thinking now that's implied. Again, we're missing the excellent Michael Giacchino score on this one right now.
It's a family.
So we got him in the costumes in the trailer. So, and they look pretty close to the original costumes. No straight blue all across. There's some hints of white here and there, and they vary by person. I think it's hilarious that they've got the Thing in socks. I don't know why. That is kind of a funny image to me. But there we go. I would have liked to have seen some indications of him having ridiculously strong, like super strength. Like we haven't seen that for a little while, or someone thinking he's a freak and trying to attack him because he is the Thing. It's kind of in there in the name. The implication is that he is not welcome there. They got a little hint of that with him at the mirror, but I don't know. Vash, what are your thoughts on this trailer overall? Not having heard the musical score.
I they're definitely presenting the visual aesthetic and really setting up how a group like this would be integrated into the MCU, I think, which is very important. Because obviously we've seen multiple iterations of these characters and they haven't all worked. I wanted to go ahead and actually add this to the screen real fast. This is work by John Hench, 1967 version of Tomorrowland. You can see kind of sweeping lines, the emphasis on white and so forth. I think that's kind of what they're going for, which we've seen the MCU actually dabble into Disney before, especially with Iron Man 2 and instances like that. So I think it's very interesting. I think I do like what I see. I had to see more of Pedro Pascal. I think he's the real question mark with this whole thing. I'm not quite sure how he's going to come off in this picture. Playing Reed Richards, not entirely sure how that's going to work.
But I'll just point out something here on that Reed Richards thing. We saw Sue Storm's powers. We obviously see Ben Grimm. I think they got the look of Ben Grimm right, but they don't have the animation correct on him just yet. Which I don't see that. I don't see that getting fixed in the coming months.
No, I don't think so either.
That looks pretty close to finished there. Johnny Storm looks great. I didn't see any indication of what Reed's powers are and how they're going to represent Reed's powers.
Right.
So that's still a big question mark to me. They didn't really do a great job. Fan Four Stick, the Josh Trank Fantastic Four, didn't do a bad job with Reed's powers, and that's about the only thing that I could say for that film.
But I think Herbie looks fantastic. I thought she would always be the strongest one. When we're looking at the casting sheet, it was like, okay, yeah, that's a strong pick right there. Wouldn't have been my first pick, but I'm really interested to see how she actually develops in the role, and I think she's gonna be great. Johnny Storm, we didn't see too much of him, but the effects look good. Like you said, though, the Thing, not fully on board with that one. That's a tough one to get right, but I think they missed the mark by just a pinch. I don't think it's going to change, like you said, Jonas.
Yeah, I would like for the Thing is supposed to be someone who is not a monster but looks like a monster, and he looks odd, but I wouldn't say he's quite in that monstrous realm. I want him to look angry at someone and terrify them. Not that he is terrifying all the time, but that he is capable of being terrifying.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.